Hello and welcome to CoreTV News at 4. I am Frank Omalape. Two separate suicide attacks in Borno and Yobe northeast Nigeria have killed at least 38 people less than 6 weeks from elections as Boko Haram leader vows to disrupt the forthcoming general polls in his latest video released on Twitter. Security-based issues had been given as rationale for postponement of the initially scheduled February 14 poll, as Nigeria's military voiced hope that a regional military offensive will curtail the insurgent from group before the new election date of March 28. But the latest wave of attacks blamed on the rebels underscored the challenge facing Nigeria and its neighbors, Cameroon, Chad and Niger, despite claims of successes in the joint operation launched this month. The Borno bomb blast occurred when 3 assailants in a motorized rickshaw detonated explosive at a checkpoint at Yamakome village near the town of Biu. At about 1 p.m., leaving 36 people killed and injured 20, a source at the Biu General Hospital says. And some 4 hours later, in Potiskum, Yobe State, a bomber blew himself up inside Al-Amin restaurant, a popular chain in northern Nigeria. The restaurant manager and a steward were killed, while 13 staff and customers were affected. And former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has called on Nigerians to be calm in the aftermath of the bomb blast in Yobe State and explosion at an APC gubernatorial campaign rally in Rivers State. The opposition figure is also seeking a partisan or bipartisan approach against those who he claims are willing to sacrifice the nation for personal gains. This, according to Atiku, is because Nigeria's democracy is on trial. He maintains that no matter the efforts to truncate the system, Nigerians should never give up their desire for change. The former vice president argued that this is the time for political elders to speak up against violent desperados within their parties and ensure punishment for anyone found guilty. And our opposition members of the Nigerian Senate are insisting that elections must hold of the rescheduled date of March 28 and April 11. They also maintain that card readers have to be used for accreditation on the 2 days, contrary to the position of some members of the ruling party, PDP. This was the position senators elected on the platform of the All Progressive Congress expressed at a news conference in Abuja. They argue that there are signs that card readers may be used as reason for a further shift in the elections.
Card readers will add value to the conduct of the elections. We're talking about what? Free and fair elections. Time has passed when people carry ballot boxes and papers to their respective rooms, thumbprint, and the following day we are senators, we are members of the legislature, of the House of Reps, we are governors, we are presidents. The whole world is watching this country. We have become a laughing stock. We are becoming a banana republic. The fact that we're in opposition does not make us any security risk. We are even more patriotic than those who are in government. We want elections, and card readers must be applied. They must be used.
What the card readers are used for is not for voting, it's for accreditation. There is a difference between accreditation and the actual voting. Accreditation will reduce rigging.
We are all politicians that must be ready to go to election, and any attempt to have a credible election should be the priority of all of us. I think what should be our priority now is address what Jega said was the reason. And I thought would have been more priority for us was to see those service chiefs come before the Senate and explain to us why they have postponed. Not for us to bring Jega as an ambush really, to try to convince why the issue of card reader. That is a party position. What we should all now be, we should be patriotic. We should see beyond our party and think of Nigeria. What is important now is more important than the issue of security. I think the agenda of bringing Jega tomorrow and on the issues of card reader is a PDP agenda.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has said that 75.88% of registered voters have received their permanent voter cards as at February 17. A figure released by annex spokesman Kaudi Ido on Tuesday shows that 52.2 million out of 68.8 million voters have picked up their PVC. A look through the list indicates that 97.51% of 1.4 million eligible voters in Zamfara State have their PVCs. Nasarawa State has 96.29% collection rate, while Gombe is third in ranking with 95%. The figure also shows that 62.4% of registered voters in Lagos State now have their voter cards. Ogun State is, however, the least with 40.86%, followed by FCT with 61.42%. Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomhole has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission to do more to stop the alleged buying of permanent voter cards by some politicians in the state. Oshiomhole made his disclosure while welcoming the new police commissioner, Sam Adegboye, to the government house in Benin on a courtesy visit. He expressed worry that those mostly affected are people living in rural communities selling their PVCs for the rate of 5,000 naira each. The report.
The governor also called on all security agencies in the state to fish out the perpetrators for prosecution.
If we find proven cases of people buying these things illegally to use them for illegal purposes, I want to plead with you to do what you have to do so that we can work it together, prosecute one or two persons so that it become an example to other desperate people. This country has to be, I'm convinced, this country has to be. I am a beneficiary of a great country, and I'm sure you are as well.
Earlier, the new Commissioner of Police, Samuel Adegboye, assured the governor that the command will do everything possible to continue with the peace, crime control and management already in place.
I want to thank Your Excellency and the good people of Edo State for this rare opportunity. And I want to emphatically state here that I am an officer. We do everything humanly possible, by the grace of God, to continue with the peace, the crime control and management already placed in existence by my predecessor in office.
Both later had exchange of gifts and souvenirs to mark the occasion.
Senate President David Mark insists that there is no room for an interim government under the present democratic arrangement. He said he's in a welcome address to senators following their resumption from recess. Senator Mark also brushed aside suggestion that the National Assembly might be used to elongate the tenure of President Goodluck Jonathan. He appealed to politicians against using the issue to heat up the tense political atmosphere. The All Progressive Congress governorship campaign in Raleigh, Okrika State, Okrika and River State resulted into a stampede after 3 explosive devices went off at the venue of the rally. The explosion resulted in confusion as the crowd who were waiting for party leaders to arrive at the venue ran for safety in different directions. Run up to the 2015 general elections in the state has witnessed different forms of violence in the state, particularly in the area as opposing parties in River State. Okrika is the hometown of the First Lady Patience Jonathan, who has been involved in an alleged running battle of supremacy with State Governor Rotimi Amechi. Some structures belonging to the All Progressive Congress and campaign rallies of the party have also suffered attacks before now. Meanwhile, Inspector General Police Sulaiman Abba has ordered an investigation into the shooting incident at the campaign rally of the All Progressive Congress in Okrika, River State, which claimed 1 life and injured 3 policemen. He has directed the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 6, Calabar, Tunde Ogushaki, to take over the investigation and promptly bring to book all the perpetrators and sponsors. A police statement quotes Inspector General Abba has also directed a judicious prosecution of suspects arrested in connection with the violence across the country. In spite of continuous political violence, the IGP restated the resolve and commitment of the police to provide an impartial level playing ground for all political parties to see their manifestos and woo the electorates. The Inspector General of Police, Sulaiman Abba, has ordered command commissioners of police to recover firearms from unauthorized security outfits and agencies, including state-owned security outfits across the country. He also directed that suspects arrested in connection with illegal possession of arms be prosecuted as soon as possible. This, according to police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu, is because of the high rate of political violence arising from illegal handling of weapons. He said in a statement issued in Abuja that the directive is aimed at ensuring a safer polity in the run-up to the 2015 election. And the Inspector General of Police also wants members of the public to continue to collaborate with the police to fish out criminal elements as well as report any suspicious movement in their areas to security agents. And now the leadership of the All Progressive Congress on Tuesday converged in Abuja to take stock of their campaign activities and concluded on the need to remain focused. In his address, APC presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari urged the party leaders to avoid mistakes that will cost the party victory. He likened the remaining weeks to the rescheduled election as extra time and insisted that nothing short of a convincing majority will do.
A Tea Party to go to 35 states within this time and to talk to people. But it's so gratifying that sees the faces of people from Belsa to Maiduguri, from Sokoto to Akwa Ibom State, and I would say from Katsina to Port Harcourt. People are really prepared for the change because that crowd you cannot buy. You can only earn it. And APC has earned it. And we should thank God for that.
You're watching CoreTV News at 4. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more stories after this timeout. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
This is CoreTV News Hour at 4, reaching live from our studios in Lagos. For more information on our news and other programs, like our Facebook page is facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can as well follow us at CoreTV News NG. And our YouTube page is youtube.com/CoreTV. Give it space, the news. Nigeria's main opposition party, the All Progressive Congress, is demanding disciplinary action against an army general and others involved in what it called the subversion of democracy during the Ekiti state governorship election. It also urged the Senate to reject the nomination of Senator Musiliu Obanikoro as minister based on the role he played in the matter. This was a decision taken by the APC leaders at the end of the first joint leadership meeting of the party in Abuja, where a leak audio file and footage released by an online media was played back to the gathering. Party spokesman La Mohammed presented the communique to newsmen.
The Minister of Police Affairs, Jalili Ade Shian, should be immediately relieved of his ministerial appointment. Thirdly, the former Minister of State for Defense, Senator Musiliu Obanikoro, who has just been renominated as to be confirmed as minister by the Senate, should not be confirmed by the Senate, and he should not be allowed to hold any public office henceforth. Thirdly, in line with the ruling of the Court of Appeal yesterday, which confirmed an earlier ruling of the Federal High Court Sokoto that the military has absolutely no business in the election management process.
Now, a support group of the All Progressive Congress governorship candidate in Lagos, Support for Ambode, says it is out to ensure that the almost 6 million voters' strength of Lagos State is won by Akinwumi Ambode. Addressing journalists at Ikeja, the group's vice chairman, Fola Tinubu, says the rumor making rounds on the alleged ill health of its governorship candidate Akinwumi Ambode is only a ploy by the PDP to rubbish the name of the APC candidate.
It's all PDP rumors. There's absolutely, and I mean absolutely, nothing wrong with Mr. Akinwumi Ambode. He has served Lagos State meritoriously for 27 years without any blemish, and he's been campaigning for the last year and a half, going all over Lagos State. And there's nobody that has, with the exception of PDP that are sowing disinformation, that can say that there's anything wrong with him, and the voters should just disregard it.
The media director of the group, Kehinde Gbami-Beton, says campaign rallies and canvassing support for the APC governorship candidate is never too much and will continue until the polls.
Like they say, is to put more hands on deck. It's never enough. We are talking of 6 million voters. Not one body can get across these 6 million voters. You may get to 100, I can get to 100, but at the end of the day, when the votes are counted on April 11, you will see the efforts of this October effort to be able to gather votes across board, so that we make sure that the wide margin, the margin between the PDP and the APC is going to be so wide that there will be no need for anybody to say, I want to even contest it.
And now Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has restated the commitment of his administration to the realization of an integrated transportation system for residents of the state in partnership with the private sector. Fashola made the promise at the commissioning of additional 100 air-conditioned buses for the state lag bus operation. Our correspondent Abiola Aluwale's report is presented from our studios.
Providing effective transportation for commuters in a densely populated megacity like Lagos remains a challenge. This informed the introduction of the BRT and the lag bus systems by the state government over the years, but the need to continuously revamp and improve its operations led to the introduction of these additional 100 air-conditioned buses in partnership with the private sector. According to Governor Fashola, this will assist in boosting employment opportunities as well as fortify the operations of the lag buses service. He, however, blames the unconducive business environment for the inability of operators of the scheme to replace aging buses.
So when people see aging buses that are not being replaced, it's not because government is not efficient. It's because the private sector is being incapacitated by financial regulations and economic policies that are not helping them to grow. That is the reality. Because we expect them to now borrow money at 210 naira to $1 at 25%, and we expect them to buy buses and keep them at the same prices. What kind of economics is that? And then federal government has also increased, if it has not, it has announced that it will increase tariff on buses. So this is the environment in which the bus operators do business.
Fashola earlier in the day commissioned a magistrate court named after Roslyn Omotosho, a former judge in the state.
Meanwhile, the state governor Babatunde Fashola has placed the state cumulative budget performance for the year 2014 at 83%. Fashola discloses while briefing journalists on the state quarterly budget review, saying the impact of the budget performance is visible in the complexion of several projects.
To do more of what we have done well and to do less of the things that we haven't done well, which are not many, and to close strongly. And as I said, in the rain and in the sun until the last day, we'll continue to provide service. That's the role of government. what we also will do more, for example, is to settle as many obligations as we can, in spite of the difficult financial situation, to contractors to accelerate and complete more ongoing projects, housing schemes, for example, road works, drainage works, and we're issuing more contracts to support small businesses.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has sworn in for Lashade Jaji as the 18th Lagos State Head of Service. Speaking at a brief ceremony held at the State Executive Chambers, Fashola says the state government will continue to place emphasis on merit in appointing public servants. He enjoyed the new head of service to see her elevation as a call to higher responsibilities.
I hope and I implore our new head of service to frontally seize on the reforms that have been embarked upon by her predecessors, reforms in keeping the ministries, departments and agencies on their toes in terms of their commitments to the vision statements that we have set, the service charters that they have drafted by themselves with our approval, and the commitments and timelines that they have voluntarily adopted under those charters to deliver service in a prescribed manner and to monitor compliance with those service levels, because that really is the way that we will demonstrate that we are true professionals as a public service, and that is the way by which we can keep our leadership role as the model of governance in this part.
On her part, the newly appointed head of service promised to justify the confidence reposed in her by the state government by giving birth while in
Being the
office.
headship of the machinery that must assist government in actualizing her plans and programs, I do promise to provide the kind of leadership that will sustain the seamless symbiotic relationship among the key players in the state public service, in line with good, fit-for-purpose practices and acceptable international standards. Expectedly, I shall also strive to build on the modest efforts and contributions of my predecessors in office.
Lashade Jaji will join the state civil service in the year 1980. It's coming 8 months before her retirement. You're still watching CoreTV News at 4. We'll take another break shortly. We'll be back with more stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Outside Nigeria now, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has called for a United Nations resolution mandating an international coalition to intervene in Libya after its jets bombed Islamic State target. Islamic State released a video on Sunday showing the beheading of 21 Egyptian Christians, drawing Cairo directly into the conflict across its border and raising concerns about increasing influence of the Islamic insurgents active in Syria and Iraq. Referring to the 2011 Libyan war in which France was part of an international coalition backing forces that opposed former leader Muammar Gaddafi. Sisi described it as an unfinished mission. Sisi called on militias to hand in their arms but called for weapons to be supplied to Libya's internationally recognized government based in the eastern city of Tobruk after rivals seized power in Tripoli. The Tobruk government has already asked for the lifting of an international arms embargo to help it take back control of the country. And that's a wrap on CoreTV News at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. I'll see you again.